I'm slightly nervous, I'm going to be honest, and I'll tell you why I'm nervous. I speak a lot publicly, but this means something very special to me, and I think when it means something, it makes you slightly more nervous. I believe in the Trinity, and before the blood rushes from your face and you think, oh Christ, we're in for a sermon, that's not the case. It just seems to me in my world that things happen in threes. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes indifferent, but threes seem to happen. Let me start from the beginning. My name's John Vial and I'm a hairdresser, and I've been hairdressing for almost 40 years. And the beauty of my job, I thought for many years, was about making somebody look good, or at least in my mind, I think I make them look good. But the longer I've done it, the more I start to realize it's not really about making somebody look good, it's about making somebody feel good. And if you make somebody feel good, you feel good yourself. So making somebody feel good is an amazing job for me. It's like giving somebody a present every day. I love making people feel good. And that's what we do in the beauty industry. We make people feel good. What an amazing job to make somebody feel good. It doesn't matter who it is in my job. It doesn't matter if it's the actress that's going on the red carpet. It doesn't matter if it's the rock star who's going to be doing a music video. It doesn't matter if it's the bride who's nervous because she's getting married, or the girl who's getting ready for the interview, or the boy who just wants to make himself feel better and feel a bit more confident. I make people feel good, and it's a great job. And I think, what an incredible industry to work in. Imagine how awful it would be to work in an industry where you had catastrophic effects to the planet. For example, if I worked for a soft drinks manufacturer and I gave somebody a drink that made them feel good for 30 seconds, but left a residue that was going to affect the planet for the rest of our lives. I thought, I'm glad that I'm not involved in any of that tomfoolery. And then I started to think, maybe in the beauty industry, we are responsible for this. A bottle of shampoo, as a hairdresser, may be used 20 times. It might not technically be single-use plastic, but ultimately we've got a big problem. We've got throwaway disposable bottles of shampoo, or conditioner, or hair masks, or moisturizers. The list goes on and on. You don't need me to tell you. So I started to think I need to look at the big problems, and that's the first problem that we've got in the beauty industry. We're as guilty as the soft drinks manufacturers. I think sometimes the pale, stale males that sit at the top of a lot of corporations bring in all the PR teams and the marketing teams. We've got a plastic problem. What are we going to do? How are we going to resolve this? For me, sometimes the answer is to ask a 5-year-old. They give us a really true, unvisioned answer. They'll just tell us exactly what they think. I'm going to say to a 5-year-old, we want to turn off the plastic tap. Now, I have no problem with plastic. Let's just make that clear. My dear friend Zaha Hadid made the most exquisite plastic light for me. I hope I keep it forever. I hope my children's children's children keep it. I have some 1960s artifacts made out of plastic. I want to keep them forever. Plastic's an incredible invention, but using it irresponsibly is wrong. And it's time to turn off the plastic tap. We have got a mountain here of 1 billion bottles, let's say, for example. And we're going to say to our 5-year-old, we've turned off the plastic tap, and here we've got lots and lots of liquids. Shampoos, shower gels, conditioners, lotions, potions. But we've got a problem. We can no longer use the plastic tap. What are we going to do? I think a 5-year-old would say, well, just use what you've got here. It's the answer. It's really that simple. The reason we don't do it in beauty is because, unfortunately, this is more expensive to reuse and recycle than just very easily turning on the plastic tap, and we've got to stop. So problem number 1 is the plastic. The answer to that is to stop using more plastic. The solution's there. This is my dog. And he was on a shoot with me recently. An incredible photographer called Desiree Matson took this picture of him. And you can't really see how blue his eyes are, but he's got the most incredibly blue eyes, and he's the love of my life. He's a rescue, and he's called Zeus, the king of the gods, which doesn't sound quite so glamorous when you're screaming Zeus in Clapham Common, but that's a whole different story. I love him like I cannot tell you. And I look in his eyes and I think, my God, you're so beautiful. And I'm really grateful that I can look into his eyes and that he can see back. Because there are millions and millions and millions of animals that can't see. And that's a horrific, horrific situation to be involved in. The problem with animal testing is not only is it horrendous, but we have to think about how that happens. So I'm the marketing director of the brand new Compound X. It's the newest non-tested on animals invention that I've got. It's going to make your skin look amazing. It's going to make your hair shiny. It's going to do whatever it is. And it's not being tested on animals, okay? What I omit to tell you is that ingredient A, B, C, D, E have been tested on animals. We fuse them together, we make compound acts. That, my friends, is greenwashing. It's not being kind, it's not being honest, and these creatures are suffering for no reason. I'm going to go back to the classroom and ask the 5-year-olds. Here we've got our little bunny, and every time we put something into his eye, he goes blind. What do we do? I think the 5-year-old tells us, just don't do it. There's no need for it. So our second problem is animal testing, and the solution is very simply to stop. The third problem, which is more complex and can't be solved by a 5-year-old, is supply chain. If there's anybody in the room who knows the supply chain of the product that they've used this morning, the shampoo, the shower gel, the moisturizer, the lotion, the potion that you've used, if you know from farm to factory to your bathroom, if you know where your product came from, stand up now. You're the first person that's ever said that. And let me tell you, most people can't. And I'll tell you why most people can't do that, because the majority of the manufacturers don't know where they are. This girl does know, and that's great. But as a general rule, did the farmer get paid fairly? Is the farmer so poor because he wasn't being paid fairly that he's sending his children out to pick the berries for the red lipstick that we're going to use? Did we cut down a rainforest? The list goes on and on and on. Was it fairly produced? The chances are it probably isn't. So how do we resolve that? It's not going to be a 5-year-old. But what we can use is technology. Now, I am not a blockchain expert. But what I know is that if you take some information and put it into a block, and some more information put into a second block, and some more into the third block, and we chain them together, and that information cannot be changed, it becomes an incredibly secure unit. That's why they use it in cryptocurrencies. That's as kind of deep as I know about blockchain. But I know that it's secure, and I know that it's the right thing to do. So imagine you get your product, you scan it with your barcode or your QR code. I'm not a young, trendy person, but you know what we mean. And it shows you from the farm right the way through the process where it came from. You see that on your phone, which we all have. Not only that, but it's also verified by incredible people like Cruelty Free International, so you know it's not been tested on an animal. It's also endorsed by somebody maybe, let's say, like the Nagoya Protocol, who are going to say, whatever you do, don't panic. These people have definitely been paid fairly. If we use blockchain as that solution, we can put stuff on our face and truly feel good. Okay? So there's our 3 problems, and I think we've got 3 very clear solutions. I really believe that. But TED Talks, for me, are all about ideas that are worth sharing. Just before I go on, I forgot about this, and it's very, very important, talking about supply chain. This is a factory in Bangladesh, and it's a garment factory. On that day, 1,134 women lost their life making clothes. When the fashion industry were asked about that, everybody denied knowledge of it. No, it's not us, it's not us. But like everything in life, when you scratch beneath the surface, or indeed pull under the rubble, you start to find evidence. And there were labels in there. And when they went to this manufacturer and said, we found your labels, they said, but that's not in our supply chain. We don't use them. And in fairness, they didn't. But what they did do was the demand was so great for cheap clothing for us all that they used another factory who subcontracted to that factory, which was clearly substandard. That exemplifies for me not understanding where you supply. If the big companies don't know where the supply chain is, what chance do we have? So there are 3 problems, 3 solutions I think that we've got. And I just want to very quickly talk about some ideas, and then I'm going to wrap up. For me, TED Talks, ideas worth sharing. I believe that we've lost our way with nature as a general rule. We live in these great big metropolises. We don't really do anything. We might go to Hyde Park and have a bottle of Prosecco, but that's as far as it really gets. And it seems to me that David Attenborough's told us that 3 trillion trees have been cut down. No wonder the rainforests are in trouble. Part of the problem there is that people seem to think that a tree has more value, millions of people think a tree has more value when it's dead, cut down to make the wood that we've got here, or the chair that you're sat on, the table that's got here, has more value dead than it has alive. What I want us to do is reimagine how we could use beauty to really change the way things look. Ultimately, what can a hairdresser do? More than you think. If we were to sell a bottle of shampoo, and I'm saying shampoo because I'm a hairdresser, it could be anything, a moisturiser, a bath gel, a shower gel, whatever, it could be anything. We take that bottle of shampoo, here's where we get a bit technical, and we get with it a digital token. And with that digital token, what we're going to do is we're going to buy a tree in the rainforest. And we all know when you own something, you love it more, you care for it more. Okay, so we now own that. That money, some of that money goes to the rainforest. They can use it to replant, or they can use it to just make sure that they keep poachers out. We've now got this digital token. I can then do anything I want with it. I can sell it on to you, I can sell it to you, I can give it to my sister, I can give it to my grandma. I can do what I want with it. The only thing I cannot do is I cannot cut down that tree. But what I might do is sell it to Sandeep. And Sandeep's going to buy it off me. Let's just, for argument's sake, say I bought it for £1. He's going to buy it for £2. That £2, the pound profit comes back to me. Part of the deal is I give some of it back to the rainforest. Every single time we buy a bottle of beauty, we're going to contribute to the rainforest. That's the first thing we're going to do with that digital token. The second thing we're going to do with that digital token, and I'm going to flip on my slide, is we're going to give exclusive access to an inclusive club. All ages, all sexes, all races. We're all going to hang out together. Everybody involved, the consumer, the farmer, the chemist, the distributors, the retailer, everybody. And we're going to talk to each other. We're going to say, you know, I used that conditioner on my hair and I left it overnight, it was brilliant, or I left it on, it was a little bit too heavy. Or, isn't that bottle beautiful? Isn't it a shame it's only 65% post-consumer waste? Oh, actually, I know a factory where we can get 70% post-consumer waste. We're going to build this incredible community and talk to each other with our digital token. And the final thing we're going to do with our digital token is we're going to go to the pale, stale male, who is the CEO, me, let's say, and I find myself in a situation where I think, okay, I'm going to try and do my bit here. I've got a plastic bottle. It's 60% post-consumer waste, 40% virgin. I think I can get that to 70%. I know a company that through my community has helped me. Or do I use the new mushroom-based biodegradable package, but I'm not quite sure that it will last for a year? And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask my team. I'm going to ask all of these people that I've built in this global community. I'm going to ask them to use their digital token as a governance token. And I'm going to say, guys, I'm not sure. What do you think? Show me what you think. For the first time ever, we will be building beauty together. We'll be deciding the direction. You will be buying a product that you know the farmer has been paid fairly. His children have not been out picking the ingredients while they should have been at school. We know that we've not cut down a rainforest. In fact, we've contributed and made it flourish. If we can do that in beauty, then, after 53 years on this planet, I can honestly say that I feel that I can probably make you feel truly good. Thank you.